Alright, so we're going to start with the calibration test activity. And I'm going to put 8 drops of potassium iodide in this top left floor plate. And to that I'm going to add 2 drops of hydrochloric acid, and then I will add 4 drops of starch, and 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate. And then I will add 0.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Alright, so we'll start with activity 2. I found that 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate was sufficient to meet the time requirements, so that's the way I'll be using it in the rest of my experiments. So I will add to this well plate 8 drops of potassium iodide, 2 drops of hydrochloric acid, 4 drops of starch solution, no water, and I'll put 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate. And have drawn up 0.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Alright, so we can move on to trial 3. In trial 4, they're the same, so I'm going to do it once on camera and then I'll repeat the experiment and record my times. It'll be 6 drops of potassium iodide, 2 drops of hydrochloric acid, 4 drops of starch solution, eight drops of sodium thiosulfate, two drops of water. I have purified water, and 0.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so I'll add the hydrogen peroxide and start. Okay, so I have returned and I've cleaned my well plate, and so I will prepare to do trials 5 and 6, and I'll do one on camera and then I'll do the consecutive one to follow, and I'll record my times, just to save a little bit of time on the video. Will be 4 drops of potassium iodide, 2 drops of hydrochloric acid, 4 drops of starch solution, 4 drops of water, eight drops of sodium thiosulfate, 1.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Alright, so I completed my trials 5 and my trial 6. Gave them 2 times each so I could have an average. And so I'm just going to move a little further down on the well plate to do activities 2, trial 7 and 8, which are the same concentrations as well. So I'll do one on camera and then I'll come back and show you my completed 4. And then we'll move on to activity 3. So potassium iodide, 2 drops. And 2 drops of hydrochloric acid. And 4 drops of starch solution. And 6 drops of water. And 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate. And 0.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so here's my completed trials 7 and 8, all 4 of them. Okay, Alright, so I've gone ahead and prepared for the concentration effects of hydrogen peroxide. And I've filled up 8 well plates. For trials 1 and 2, I have 8 drops of potassium iodide, 2 drops of hydrochloric acid, 4 drops of starch, no water, 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate, and I'm holding on to the hydrogen peroxide so that I don't start my experiment in advance. And I've prepared my 3 and 4 with their respective amounts of solutions, and 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. Okay, just because I'm running out of time on this video. So I went ahead and prepared them, and I will add the different amounts of hydrogen peroxide to start my experiments. Alright, so I've done my trial 1s. I had to have 2 separate times. Then I've done my trial 2s. Those are my 2 separate times. And now I'll be starting on my trials 3 and 4 with their respective concentrations of solution. Now I'm going to add in 0.3 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. Alright, so I'm back. I've done my trial 3 2 separate times and my trial 4 2 separate times. And so now I'm going to start my trials 5 and 6, and they need 0.2 mLs of hydrogen peroxide each. So I'll add my hydrogen peroxide and start my timer, and then I'll complete 2 trials. Okay, now I've completed, so you can see it better like this, my 2 times for 5 and my 2 times for 6. Okay, and let's see. I'll go ahead and finish up with trial 7 and 8, and they both need 0.1 mLs of hydrogen peroxide. I'll drop my hydrogen peroxide. And start my timer. I just wanted to come back and show you my completed well plates, and I finished my 7 2 times and my 8 2 times. Alright, so I've prepared my well plates for the concentration of hydrochloric acid. For my trials 1 and 2, there are 8 drops of potassium iodide, 2 drops of 100% hydrochloric acid, 4 drops of starch, no water, 8 drops of sodium thiosulfate, and I'll be delivering 0.4 mLs of hydrogen peroxide to start the reaction. And so I'll get started, and I'll come back once I've completed this trial. Alright, so I'm back, and I completed my trials 1 and 2. And so now I will complete my trials 3 and 4, which have 75% hydrochloric acid in them. Okay. So I'll add my hydrogen peroxide. Right, so I've prepared my water baths for this experiment. A little bit closer to me so you can see them. And my hot water bath I'm just going to leave over. And this is my reactant tube. And then this tube is my hydrogen peroxide. So I'm going to let them sit for 5 minutes so that they become the correct temperature. And then I will come back and start my reaction and start my timer. Alright, so it's been 5 minutes, and both of my reaction tube and my peroxide have been sitting in this water bath at room temperature. My room temperature right now, I'm going to record it as 25.2. I'll record as 25.2 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to add the hydrogen peroxide to my reaction, and I'm going to start my timer. And I'm going to put my next test tube in my cold water bath and some more hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to let those reach the appropriate temperature on the cold bath. Alright, so my cold water bath reaction finished, and my cold water bath temperature was recorded at 6 degrees. And now my hot water bath, I got the temperature at 44 degrees right before I used it. And so these have been sitting in here. My test tubes of my potassium iodide solution and my hydrogen peroxide have been sitting in here for 5 minutes. And now I'm going to begin this reaction and start my timer. Let me get my timer ready. Okay. Well, that's already done. So, alright. I am going to record the rest of my data and prepare for the next activity with the copper chloride solution, the catalyst. Thank you. Alright, so this is activity 4, the catalyst part of the activity. I've already pre-prepared my well plates with my copper sulfate. That was diluted 0.5 molar copper sulfate to 3 mLs of pure water. And then I added 8 drops of potassium iodide to all of them, 2 drops of hydrochloric acid to all of them, 4 drops of starch to all of them, and their respective amounts of water, their respective amounts of copper sulfate, and I've added the sodium thiosulfate. Now I have my hydrogen peroxide, and I'll be beginning my reaction. So I'll do the first one on camera, and then I'll do the consecutive ones, and I'll come back and show you that I finished. Alright, so I finished all 5 of the reactions, and I recorded my times in my data table. This completes the video section of this. I will go through and perform my calculations to finish activity 5, which is completely written, and that'll be all. So thank you for watching my video. You have a good day.